Okay, so now we're going to look at the distributive property. Which talks about multiplication. How can we simplify our expressions when talking about multiplication? All right, just really quickly, multiplication we know we can show that with the x. So like if we had 6 times n, we have always used that, even in elementary school. This year, we kind of took away the x and we started using the dot because now that we have variables, now that we have letters, x can sometimes be a variable, and we just don't want to mix up multiplication and actually a variable. So we've been working with the dot this year, 6 times n. And then right before we left, during this unforeseen break, we talked about how 6 dot n or 6xn or 6 times n can also be seen as this. When we don't have a sign between a coefficient and a variable, that's going to tell us to multiply. And then I just want to remind you, I don't even know if we got this far. This also means 6 times n. Okay, so all of these are ways to express multiplication. So for instance, if we had 6 parentheses 3, this is going to tell me 6 times 3, or 6 times 3 is 18. So the value is 18. 6, 3 plus n. Well, the distributive property is going to tell me I can distribute the 6 over the 3. So 6 times 3 is 18. And then 6 times n. And 6 times n is 6n. So these two expressions are equivalent. These two expressions are equivalent. They're the same. They're going to give you the same value. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 more. What if I have this? It's the same thing, just distributing and multiplying. 6 times 3n, so 6 times 3n plus 6 times n. This would give me 18n, 6n. And then look, these are like terms. I could combine them. So 18 plus 6 is 24n. So really, equivalent, 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 equivalent. They are all equivalent expressions. So you just went ahead and you generated 3 and found 4 expressions that are equivalent. All right, I'm going to give you one more example. So what if we had the variable on the outside of the parentheses? Well, it's okay because it's going to tell me the same thing. I'm still going to multiply n times 6. And we have n times 3. And when we do this, n times 6 gives me 6n, and n times 3 gives me 3n. And then I can combine 6n minus 3n gives me 3n. So again, I'm going to give you 3 practice problems, and I want you to pause this video, try them on your own, and then come back and check your work with what I have. So go ahead and pause the video and attempt these problems on your own, coming back to check your work with what I have. Okay, so here we go. When we distribute the 5, you should have got 10c plus 3 for the first one. And you should have got, when you distributed 12a minus 9a, and then we combine those terms. 12a minus 9a gives us 3a. And then the last one, 14x plus 42. The distributive property.